Obsidian Red. And I believe Toro. Hey, Randall and this is Cigar Vlogs. So, Obsidian's come out with a new line which has this red band. And I think Obsidian pretty much takes the cake for record for the longest band in a cigar. Normally these are either black, hence Obsidian, or white, because one of them's like a regular Habano, the other one's a Connecticut. This is, I think, a Rosado, or possibly something similar. I'm not entirely 100% positive, but so far every Obsidian I've had has been actually a pretty decent smoke. So for a boutique brand, it definitely seemed to be well worth the investment, if you call it that. Got a nice solid triple cap there, if this is going to focus. Construction's pretty decent. No big, huge veins to speak of. Nothing really knobby. Everything looks pretty top tier. Now, the real question, can I light this without scorching the bejesus out of it? There's a couple of spoilers there I'm not going to get into, because I think if you watch my videos you already know about how this usually turns out. It gets lit, just sometimes not the best. Every so often I start thinking I have to start using a cutting torch to do this. So right off the bat, no spice. Very smooth, very mild. Sweet tobacco. A little earthy. There's a subtle sweetness going on in there. Alright. That's a good start. Let's smell this down at the first inch and give an update from there. Okay, so we're about an inch in. Start noticing a little bit more of a building spice, kind of like a baking spice. You know, like holiday-spiced apples kind of thing, cinnamon, kind of clovish, nutmeg kind of thing. You know, it's a little seasoning, as it were. That said, though, this one's got a very nice natural sweetness to it. It kind of builds in the back of your throat, which is nice. Retrohale, I want to say, is almost fruity with a touch of earthiness. Very interesting. Alright, so far there definitely seems to be a couple things going on with this. There's a couple things that stand out. Sweetness and clean tobacco. A little bit of spice from, you know, almost like a cinnamony kind of thing. Not like cinnamon flavor, but, you know, just that kind of, you know, you get spicy cinnamon. But I was just astounded at the sweet note that keeps popping up. It's not anything like specifically sweet, just kind of just an overall sense of sweetness. But I'm going to smoke this down a halfway point and see if anything kind of stands out, mellows, or builds, or changes. Otherwise, though, this is definitely turning out to be a rather interesting cigar. Well, ash just fell off, so this is a pretty good halfway point, I suppose. So far, I'm going to notice that this one, in between puffs, you definitely want to take your time to let the flavor develop. Make sure there's nobody going to run away with a bicycle. Yeah, doom and gloom, and everybody's out running, riding the bike, walking the dog. You know, it's like, well, obviously I'm out here because I kind of have a reason, but, you know, I mean, seriously, people, if you're just going to get rained on, you're not planning on, like, getting out of the rain in a tunnel or something, you know, go home. Anyway, a little bit of a sidetrack there. Flavors of this so far, like I said, you want to take your time between puffs to let the flavor develop, because there is a lovely sweetness in this and a slight cinnamony spiciness to it. This kind of reminds me of those old Red Hots candies. I mean, I believe they still make them. Yeah, here comes a runner. So I'm just going to go ahead and hop up into the field because I already know I look like a lunatic just being out here smoking a cigar and talking to my phone. So, hey, I've got to find a better place to do these. I mean, like I said, these kind of have this sweet kind of cinnamony note to them that reminds me of the Red Hat's candies. Now, I'm going to point out this is kind of an American thing because most Europeans, especially Brits, aren't too crazy about cinnamon. And when it comes to cinnamon candy, if you want to see them basically melt. Yeah, they say white people, they typically don't do good with spice. That's pretty much British people. Find American white people, especially if they have particularly Asian tastes. Yeah, I can handle some pretty decent amount of fire. Kind of a weird flex, but you know, whatever. Anyway, smoking this cigar down here. I keep getting reminded of these nice Red Hat's candy. They're just these little cinnamon gummies. They look kind of like little pills, but they're sweet. They got a little bit of cinnamon to them. And it just reminds me of hanging out by the pool with your friends and other classmates from school, and that one dicktard that keeps stealing your bag, and 20 years later you just keep laughing at him because, oh hey, you thought that I was the nerd? Oh hey, guess what? You're the guy that's like bald with a beer gut and no ass. Fuck off. Alright, sorry about that. I get distracted because, you know, it's like, this is just, it's one of those cigars that just brings back some memories of just interesting times and just makes you think of some jokes. And this is just a good cigar in general. Another quick little memory here. If you didn't get the Red Hats, you got the Fireball Jawbreaker. This little ball of hard candy that was coated with a cinnamon. But it was a little bit more potent than what you would find in like the Red Hots. So everybody buy either the Red Hots or those. You'd sit around next to the pool and you'd stick this gumball in your mouth. Well, it's not a gumball, but you stick this ball of candy in your mouth and try to see who could keep it in your mouth the longest before you had to spit it out because it just like got a little over the top intense. Well, anyway, my weird rants and ramblings later. Yeah, so far, take your time between puffs because the flavor of this is really nice. There's a little that subtle sweetness, subtle cinnamon. I noticed the Red Hill also has a slight fruitiness to it, which is kind of interesting. A little weird, but interesting. Well, anyway, I'm going to smoke this down to the nub and see if this does anything else. But so far, yeah, this has been a wonderful cigar. I'm loving this one. Alright, let's see at the nub. Well, this looks about done to me. So far, flavors have been pretty consistent throughout, although I noticed after the halfway point, I started getting a slight breadiness to it, almost like a cinnamon roll. Roll, though. Good flavors, good consistent flavors. Basically a nice way to spend your afternoon, truth be told. Drink pairings, pretty much standard cigar stuff, you know, your typical coffee, whiskey, things like that. Maybe a rum, like a spiced rum. I definitely would not recommend Fireball cinnamon whiskey, because blech. Overall though, definitely an excellent cigar. And seeing as it's Obsidian, you won't break the bank getting it. Yeah, I can definitely recommend these. Let's see here, make sure I'm not going to get bombed by another pedestrian or bicyclist or somewhere with a dog. Well, anyway, not much else to say about this other than an excellent cigar. If you like kind of cinnamon candies, this would be right up your alley. If you're not into cinnamon candies, then you probably would look for something other than the red Obsidians. But otherwise, yeah, definitely excellent cigar. By all means, check them out. Well, anyway, that's pretty much all I've got for this one. If you like this review or any other review, like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know if you've had a different experience, or if there's anything you want to see reviewed. Also, check out my Twitch stream, Sundays and Wednesday nights, midnight to 2 a.m. At least once in a month, I will do a 4-hour stream starting at 10. I just need to figure out exactly when to do that. But anyway, that being said, that's all I got. I'll see you next time.